1223. Immortal is an ample word, when what we need is by, but when it leaves us for a time, 'tis a necessity. Of heaven above, the firmest proof, we fundamental know, except for its marauding hand, it had been heaven below. 1224. Our friends' delight or pain, could bounty but remain, riches were good. But if they only stay, ampler to fly away, riches are sad. 1225. The mountains stood in haze, the valleys stopped below, and went or waited as they liked, the river and the sky. At leisure was the sun, his interests afire. A little from remark withdrawn, the twilight spoke the spire. So soft upon the scene, the act of evening fell, we felt how neighborly a thing was the invisible. 1226. Somewhere upon the general earth itself exists today, the magic passive but extent that consecrated me. In different seasons doubtless play, where I for right to be would pay each atom that I am but immortality, reserving that but just to prove another date of thee. O God of width, do not for us curtail eternity. 1227. Step lightly on this narrow spot, the broadest land that grows is not so ample as the breast these emerald seams enclose. Step lofty, for this name be told, as far as cannon dwell, or flag subsist, or fame export her deathless syllable. 1228. I cannot want it more, I cannot want it less. My human nature's fullest force expends itself on this. And yet it nothing is, to him who easy owns, is worth itself or distance, he fathoms who obtains. 1229. The days that we can spare are those a function die, or friend or nature stranded then, in our economy. Our estimates a scheme, our ultimates a sham, we let go all of time without arithmetic of him. 1230. 'Twas fighting for his life he was, that sort accomplish well. The ordinance of vitality is frugal of its ball. It aims once, kills once, conquers once. There is no second war in that campaign inscrutable of the interior. 1231. Frigid and sweet her parting face, frigid and fleet my feet, alien and vain whatever clime, acrid whatever fate. Given to me without the suit, riches and name and realm, who was she to withhold from me penury and home? 1232. An honest tear is durabler than bronze. The cenotaph may each that dies, reared by itself, no deputies suffice. Gratitude bears when obelisk decays. 1233. I should not dare to be so sad, so many years again. A load is first impossible when we have put it down. The superhuman then withdraws, and we who never saw the giant at the other side begin to perish now. 1234. Remembrance has a rear and front, 'tis something like a house. It has a garret also, for refuse and the mouse. Besides the deepest cellar that ever mason laid, look to it by its fathoms, ourselves be not pursued. 1235. Because my brook is fluent, I know 'tis dry. Because my brook is silent, it is the sea. And startled at its rising, I try to flee to where the strong assure me is no more sea. 1236. A little dog that wags his tail and knows no other joy. Of such a little dog am I, reminded by a boy, who gambols all the living day without an earthly cause, because he is a little boy, I honestly suppose. The cat that in the corner dwells, her martial day forgot, the mouse but a tradition now, of her desirous lot. Another class remind me, who neither please nor play, but not to make a bit of noise, beseech each little boy. 1237. O shadow on the grass, art thou a step or not? Go make thee fair, my candidate, my nominated heart. O shadow on the grass, while I delay to guess, some other thou wilt consecrate, O unelected face. 1238. To make routine a stimulus, remember it can cease. Capacity to terminate is a specific grace. Of retrospect the arrow, that power to repair, departed with the torment, become alas more fair. 1239. To disappear enhances, the man that runs away is tinctured for an instant with immortality. But yesterday a vagrant, today in memory lain, with superstitious value we tamper with again. But never far as honor withdraws the worthless thing, and impotent to cherish, we hasten to adorn. Of death the sternest function, that just as we discern, the excellence defies us, securest gathered then. The fruit perverse to plucking, but leaning to the sight, with the ecstatic limit of unobtained delight. 1240. So much of heaven has gone from earth, that there must be a heaven, if only to enclose the saints, to affidavit given. The missionary to the mole must prove there is a sky. Location doubtless he would plead, but what excuse have I? Too much of proof affronts belief, the turtle will not try, unless you leave him, then return, and he has hauled away. 1241. Like brooms of steel, the snow and wind had swept the winter street. The house was hooked, the sun sent out faint deputies of heat. Where rode the bird, the silence tied his ample plodding steed. The apple in the cellar snug was all the one that played. 1242. The stars are old that stood for me, the west a little worn, yet newer glows the only gold I ever cared to earn. Presuming on that lone result, her infinite disdain, but vanquished her with my defeat, 'twas victory was slain. 1243. Shall I take thee, the poet said, to the propounded word? Be stationed with the candidates, till I have finer tried. The poet searched philology, and was about to ring for the suspended candidate. There came unsummoned in that portion of the vision, the word applied to fill, not unto nomination, the cherubium reveal. 1244. Fly, fly, but as you fly, remember the second pass you by. The second is pursuing the century is chasing eternity. What a responsibility! No wonder that the little second flee out of its frightened way. 1245. Like rain it sounded till it curved, and then we knew 'twas wind. It walked as wet as any wave, but swept as dry as sand. When it had pushed itself away, to some remotest plain. A coming as of hosts was heard, that was indeed the rain. It filled the wells, it pleased the pools, it warbled in the road. It pulled the spigot from the hills and let the floods abroad. It loosened acres, lifted seas, the sights of centres stirred, then like Elijah rode away upon a wheel of cloud. 1246. The clouds their backs together laid, the north began to push. The forests galloped till they fell, the lightning played like mice. The thunder crumbled like a stuff, how good to be in tombs, where nature's temper cannot reach, nor missile ever comes. 1247. We like a hair-breadth scape, it tingles in the mind, far after act or accident, like paragraphs of wind. If we had ventured less, the breeze were not so fine, that reaches to our utmost hair its tentacles divine. 1248. The sun and fog contested the government of day. The sun took down his yellow whip and drove the fog away. 1249. Had I not seen the sun, I could have borne the shade, but light a newer wilderness my wilderness has made. 1250. If my bark sink, 'tis to another sea. Mortality's ground floor is immortality. 1251. Look back on time with kindly eyes. He doubtless did his best. How softly sinks that trembling sun in human nature's west. 1252. It is the meek that valor wear, too mighty for the bold. 1253. Risk is the hair that holds the ton, seductive in the air. That ton is hollow, but the ton, with 100 weights to spare, too ponderous to suspect the snare, espies that fickle chair, and seats itself to be let go by that perfidious hair. The foolish ton, the critics say, while that delusive hair, persuasive as perdition, decoys its traveller. 1254. Let my first knowing be of thee, with morning's warming light, and my first fearing, lest unknowns engulf thee in the night. 1255. Fortitude incarnate here is laid away, in the swift partitions of the awful sea. Babble of the happy, cavil of the bold, hoary the fruition, but the sea is old. Edifice of ocean, thy tumultuous rooms suit me at a venture better than the tombs. 1256. A clover's simple fame, remembered of the cow, is sweeter than enamelled realms of notoriety. Renown perceives itself, and that defiles the power. The daisy that is looked behind has fortified the dower. 1257. A sparrow took a slice of twig and thought it very nice, I think because his empty plate was handed nature twice. Invigorated, waited in all the deepest sky, until his little figure was forfeited away.